Abraham Lincoln Walks at Midnight by Vachel Lindsay, 1879 to 1931, and this was published in 1914. It is portentous and a thing of state that here at midnight in our little town a mourning figure walks and will not rest near the old courthouse, pacing up and down. Or by his homestead, or in shadowed yards he lingers where his children used to play, or through the market on the well-worn stones he stalks until the dawn stars burn away. A bronzed, lank man, his suit of ancient black, a famous high-top hat, and plain worn shawl, make him the quaint great figure that men love, the prairie-lawyer, master of us all. He cannot sleep upon his hillside now, he is among us, as in times before, and we who toss and lie awake for long breathe deep and start to see him pass at the door. His head is bowed, he thinks on men and kings. Yea, when the sick world cries, how can he sleep? Too many peasants fight, they know not why. Too many homesteads in black terror weep. The sins of all the warlords burn his heart. He seems the dreadnought scouring every main. He carries on his shawl-wrapped shoulders now the bitterness, the folly, and the pain. He cannot rest until a spirit dawn shall come, the shining hope of Europe free, the league of sober folk, the workers' earth, bringing long peace to cornland, alp, and sea. It breaks his heart that kings must murder still, that all his hours of travail here for men seem yet in vain, and who will bring white peace that he may sleep upon his hill again? Okay, this is a poem by Vachel Lindsay. Now, let's see, Vachel Lindsay is an American who came from Springfield in Illinois. And the point is that Abraham Lincoln also came from Springfield, Illinois. And this is what the poem is about. The poem is about effectively Abraham Lincoln turning in his grave because the First World War has started in Europe, and Abraham Lincoln is very upset because he's the person who took the United States out of the American Civil War, and Abraham Lincoln is a peacemaker, and he's terribly upset that once again men are killing men, and this is a terrible thing. And his spirit is now walking in Springfield. And notice it's published in 1914 for the outbreak of the First World War. So it is portentous and a thing of state. So portentous is something that is shows that something is going to happen, something important is going to happen. It's like an omen. And a thing of state, so a thing that the whole country should worry about. That here at midnight in our little town a mourning figure walks. So if you're mourning, you're in mourning, you're crying for the dead, you're sad for the dead, you are lamenting the dead. So war has started and Lincoln is mourning the dead. and will not rest, and the spirit of Lincoln cannot rest. Near the old courthouse, pacing up and down. So he's walking up and down near the old courthouse, or by his homestead, so near to his home, or in shadowed yards he lingers. So he spends time in yards, in gardens and places with shadows where his children used to play. Or through the market, so maybe he's walking through the market. On the well-worn stones he stalks until the dawn stars burn away. So he's restlessly walking through town. He walks across the well-worn stones. Yeah, he stalks up and down. Here, to stalk, normally one animal stalks another, but he's stalking, he's walking until the morning comes and the dawn stars disappear. A bronzed, lank man, so somebody who's been in the sun, who's tanned, and lank, tall and thin. His suit of ancient black, so he used to wear a black suit, a famous high-top hat, and a plain worn shawl. So the top hat, this is the image of Lincoln, and a shawl round his shoulders. It's like a wrap. Make him the quaint, the old-fashioned, traditional, lovely figure that men love. The prairie-lawyer, the lawyer of the plains, master of us all. Okay, so yeah, Lincoln was a great peacemaker, and Lincoln was the person responsible for the peace after the American Civil War. He cannot sleep upon the hillside now. So he can't rest. He can't rest in his tomb because of what's happening in Europe, because of the killing, because war has started. He is among us, as in times before. So these are times of war again, and he's worried about this. He thinks it's a terrible thing. And we who toss and lie awake for long. Okay, so and we, the people who toss and turn in our beds and lie awake because we can't sleep, we breathe deep, take a deep breath and start and jump to see him pass by our doors, past the door. His head is bowed down. He thinks on men and kings, so he's thinking about men and kings. Yea, the sick world cries, how can he sleep? So, there are problems in the world, there is war in Europe. How can he sleep? Yeah, how can he sleep with a situation like that? He's turning in his grave. Too many peasants fight, they know not why. Okay, so this is the idea of war being something where the poor people fight, and they don't even really understand the reasons why. Too many homesteads in black terror weep. So there are too many homes, farms, where people cry in terror for the deaths or the possible deaths of the people that they love. The sins of all warlords burn his heart. So he's now saying that war is a sin. Yeah, and the sins of the warlords, the people who create wars, are burning in his heart. He sees the dreadnought scouring every main. So a dreadnought is a great big battleship, and to scour is to go everywhere, up and down in every place. And the main is the high seas. So he sees big battleships going across the seas everywhere. He carries on his shawl-wrapped shoulders now the bitterness, the folly, and the pain. So he's now carrying on his shoulders the responsibility of this sadness, of this craziness, of the pain that people suffer. Yeah? He cannot rest until a spirit dawn shall come. So he's not going to be able to rest until something happens. The shining hope of Europe free. So he won't be able to rest until Europe is free. The League of Sober Folk, the workers' earth, bringing long peace to cornland, alp and sea. So he's waiting again. He won't be able to rest until peace comes to cornland. I think this is the Midwest of America, the Alps in the mountains and the seas. So he's not going to be able to rest until peace comes. It breaks his heart that kings must murder still. Okay, so this is very critical of war. This is saying war is leaders and kings killing common people for their own personal gain. That all his hours of travail here for men seem yet in vain. So all of the work that he did after the American Civil War, yeah, it seems that they are in vain, that they were for nothing. And who will bring white peace? Who will bring peace again to Europe, that he may sleep upon his hill again, so that he can go back to sleep on his hill? So this poem it's criticising the First World War, the outbreak of the First World War, and saying that the ghost of Abraham Lincoln has come back because of this terrible thing. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Abraham Lincoln Walks at Midnight by Vachel Lindsay.